Disclaimer. Before I begin, I do want to inform you that I go hard and real with what I'm about to say on this episode. If you cannot handle my truth, sense of humor, sarcasm, and explicit language, then I advise you to not listen. This episode will contain words that may be triggering and may have graphic details, so listen per your discretion. If you are still here, without further ado, please sit back and enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of yours Druelee. It is I, your host, Druelee, of course. On this episode, I have my very first guest, Mai Thao. Mai is a business life strategist who works and is the founder of a business called YESBarr. She helps single moms or moms in general with creating confident and healthy boundaries between the business and their personal life. If you are a mom who is struggling to boost your business due to your busy life with families, Mai can guide you in your business to where she can help you develop effective sales strategies to increase your income, amplify your business visibility, and create a foundation that embodies relationship building and customers centricity. I'm super excited to have Mai be part of my podcast, so let's begin this episode. Thank you so much for being my very first guest on my podcast. I truly appreciate that. Again, I just have a couple questions for us to, talk about and get this going. But of course, the first one will have to be, tell me about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me on your very cool, authentic podcast. I always love hearing, the stuff that you have on there. My name is Mai. I am a single mother of 3. I work and I'm also a entrepreneur that coaches moms in business. My kids and I, we moved to Minnesota back in 2007 after a long 11 years of marriage that was very toxic and abusive. And I feel like that was the start of my journey to opening many opportunities.
So what's your business name? And how did you come up with it?
So, gosh, you know what? One of the biggest thing, or the most important thing, but the hardest thing is to come up with a name for a business. And I came up with a YESBarr. So that is spelled YESBARR. A lot of people ask me why that name. And I went back and forth with it. And it's because, I wanted something that will relate to me and relate to a lot of moms. Oftentimes, we don't say yes to ourselves enough. We don't say yes to our needs enough. We don't say yes to our self-care enough. And this name, when I said it, it was like a reminder to myself that it's okay. It's okay to be greedy or selfish with my time. And so that was how I came up with the name. For those who doesn't see it, the yes is capitalized. And so that is like yes.
Okay, so tell me more about your business. Like, what kind of service are you offering? So, is it only to single moms or women, or tell me more about that?
Yeah, so YESBarr launched last year. It's been almost a year now. This was an idea that came about when I took almost a year off to take care of my son who had needs. And during this time I had a lot of time to just reflect, on my skills and what I really enjoy doing. I realized that upon that reflection, mothers, especially single mothers, needs so much support. Like so many of us struggle in silence. And I know all moms do. I don't want to say that moms don't. A lot of moms do. But my special heart really belongs to single moms because I've been there. I know the struggles in and out. I know the multiple hats that we wear. And the idea came about because upon talking to a lot of single moms and moms, I realized that they need a voice. And this is not just any voice. It's a voice to let them know that, it's not shameful to ask for help. It's not shameful to not be strong and independent every day. I've also met a lot of mompreneurs who struggles with that and their business never really takes off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in business and their business is still the same. And when I say still the same, I'm talking about growth and money, growth and visibility. And it really comes down to how they see their business, how they're pouring into their business, and what strategies are they using to bridge their personal life and business life together. And that was what inspired me to launch YESBarr.
So, have you have like experience with like business, or was this more like a self-taught for yourself, or did you have like mentors that taught you about like business and then you kind of incorporate that with single moms?
Yeah, so I never actually had a business. A lot of my background was in sales. I do have a good amount of sales experience. And I believe that you can run a business as much as you want, but if you don't have the sales experience part of it, it's not going to take off. A business does not earn income, it does not earn sales on operations. It earns sales and it takes off because of sales, because of relationship building, because of the human connection.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. I did not know that.
Now you do.
So like with all of that and everything, so I do want to shift to our main topic that we wanted to talk about, which is, can you talk more about how can not just like us as women but just people in general, how can we refining boundaries to get back time? Because I know that with moms we don't have time for ourselves, or just like women in general, or sometimes men themselves don't have time. But how would we define refining boundaries to get back time for basically anything that we want to do in life?
Yeah, so defining boundaries is something that if you follow me on Facebook, I talk about a lot. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be a young adult, an adult, a man, a woman, a single parent, a single dad, parents, right? Or somebody who's just out there hustling. The most complaint I have heard from people is that they just don't have enough time. So, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so tired all the time. But what I found is that when I sit down with them and really have them break down the list to me on what they do on a day to day basis, it's really small tasks here and there. They're not intentional. So these are busy bodies. The list of things to do, it's all over the place. So they start at 8 a.m. in the morning and all the way until 10 o'clock. And you know what? They feel like nothing has been accomplished. That is a busybody. And when you do that, you can't find time anywhere in your day. You don't even know what you did. Like nothing that you did that day was intentional. But what happens is when you define your boundaries and you know what drawing the line looks like to you, you're able to wake up in a day, you're able to look at what you do, and you're able to say, okay, of the 100 things that I do, I actually really just need to focus on the top 4 to 5 things. What I do is I teach that to mothers. I teach that to mompreneurs, saying that, hey, you don't have to do it all. But before you can even get to that place, yes, you do have to sit down and do the homework and say, what are my values? Who am I? What is it that I want to accomplish every day? How do I know when I start going against my own belief and going against my values? And once you get that down on paper, then you can start to see, okay, this is where I draw my boundaries. Because now it's going against my values, it's going against my belief, and it's taking me away from my bigger goal. So you have to start ground up.
Do you think that with you teaching single moms all these things, do you think that they can use that for their own personal life as well? Because I felt like all that you described are things that I can use that in my own personal life. Do you think that will work for them as well too, besides business?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And this is the awesome thing about what I do. Although my soft spot is for moms and single moms, the strategies that I teach, the strategies I put out there, it can apply to anyone. If you're out there, especially if you're a hustler, especially if you're in business, drawing boundaries is so crucial because how are you going to pour into your business and pour into your personal lives, right? If you don't draw boundaries. But a lot of people, a lot of the times, don't know that they need to do that, or they don't know how to do that because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are authentically. So there's a blurred line there. But we got to start somewhere.
Have you have people who have given you feedback saying that, oh, your strategies, it works for me? So when that happens, what were some things that you saw that they needed improvement on, and when you gave them all the information that you knew and gave to them, and they went back to you and told you, oh, this actually worked, what were the difference that you saw?
Yeah, so I have, my business is really new, so I don't have that much visibility yet. But the very few people that have reached out to me, the strategy that I provide them, it has helped. How does it help? It provides clarity. Of course, it's something that has to be practiced every day. It has to be consistent. But that is the one thing that I have realized that it has helped de-stress. So if you were stressed at a level 8 and now they're like at a 7 or even a 6, that is success, that is progress. Yep, and that is what I've seen, that whoever applies that strategy, I have seen that there is work, um, that there's progress.
So then, like, I know that you just started your business. Where do you see your business within, I don't know, like next year or like 5 years, or just like if you were to do this for your entire life, where do you see yourself within this business?
So this is definitely going to be my baby. This is definitely where my joy and my passion is. It's my place of calm because I think about my clients and their families. I can see that if a parent, if a mother can learn these strategies and pour more into their families and learn the strategies to bridge their business and the personal life together, they're going to be so much happier. And imagine when they're happier. Imagine when they go home and they're not pissed off all the time. How great would that be for their family? Their mom comes home happy now. Definitely, that would definitely make the kids happier. And so it's not just about growing the business for YESBarr, but it's really about the human connection within families, not only just with clients, but it's also with families. And that is why I do see YESBarr. It's going to grow. I'm not stopping anytime soon. In the next year, I would expect that it's going to expand exponentially. I am looking to expand out of Minnesota. As of right now, it's just in Minnesota. That's what I look forward to in the next one. I would say next 1 or 2 years.
Do you plan to like add other services to your business, or do you think that as of right now you just want to focus more on moms and single moms?
Yeah, as of right now, my focus is going to be just single moms and moms who are in business, or if they're hustling, or even if they're not, but they want to still come in and learn the strategies anyway to apply to their personal life. They're all welcome.
So then, can you give me like an outline on how, like, for example, if I am your customer, I've heard about you, and so I'm calling you and letting you know that my business is not doing great. Walk me through how you would, basically just the process of how you will do a consultant with the client. Do you also want like monetary from them as
Mhm.
well? Because of course your business is a business, and so it will need some like finance, right? So just walk me through how that would work if I was a client.
Sure. Yeah. So I won't go into do too much detail, but a clarity call is always the first step. I am not going to be working with everybody that reaches out to me because I don't believe that every client is the right client. If there is a client that I meet and we do proceed forward with the program, the first thing I do is we do set up another call. This call is going to go more in depth with getting to know them more, getting to know their needs, really kind of be a little bit more connected. And then from there, we have my program is set up to where we do have weekly calls. There's weekly live calls where we actually do a one-on-one coaching sessions. Along with that, I do provide workbooks that they have access to that they work on. So we also go through that together also. And they also have access to me 24/7 through our Facebook group chats, through our instant messaging, or through emails. And so I do understand that mothers are so busy. And so, I want to be accessible to them as much as I can. But it really is, the process really is going to start with the one-on-one coaching, understanding what your style of learning is, what is really at the root of your problem, and then going from there.
You mentioned coaching, and a lot of times people they tend to gravitate towards someone who has more experience, or they are licensed, or they have like a degree or whatever. But for me, honestly, I feel like when you are like, for example, like a life coach where you live life, you experience it, I tend to gravitate towards more people like that. So my question is, do you feel like some people don't gravitate towards you in your service and your business because you don't have a degree, or you don't have like certain experience that they're looking for? But the difference between you and those who have those things is that you actually live through that kind of life. And so you know how it is to be a single mom and owning your business and all that stuff. So um I guess what I'm trying to say is that, do you consider yourself a life coach, and do you think that you will want to do more life coaching in the future, and but at the same time incorporating your business?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, Drew. My specialty definitely is, and I actually consider myself a business and life strategist because I'm not just coaching you on what you to do, but I'm also providing you strategies on how to get there. So my title is actually business and life strategist. And the reason why, for me personally, I don't care if you have a degree. Certain things in life, you gain more from skills, and skills comes from experience. I have had mentors before. Their degree was not in coaching, but it's the passion that they bring. It is the skills and the knowledge that they bring. And it's the authenticity that they bring. And when talking to them, I know that, okay, they're listening to me. They can pinpoint exactly my issue. That is exactly what I can provide my customers, my clients. And I think when you're working with a strategist in business and in life, that is what you need. You need somebody who is attentive when you're talking, who's actively listening, so they can help you solve your problem. Because if you're talking to a life strategist or business strategist, you obviously need help. You're obviously to the point where you're exhausted and you need help. And you definitely want to speak to somebody who has done the work, who has been through the dirt, who has came out of it, and who knows how to do it.
So I know that, like, of course you have your own personal life that you, in your mental state, that you need to be in control of. But so how do you balance that along with like your clients, like, issues, and like helping them deal with theirs? Because that could be a lot for me. That for me, if I were to do that, that could be a lot to handle. So how do you do that? How do you balance that from your own personal life and helping other people?
Well, Drew, it's not balanced. I'm telling you that right now. It's more of just blending it all in, harmonizing it, accepting it, and taking it in. And I think a lot of times people forget that, how we act at home, how we act in our personal lives, how we deal with our problems, it's how we deal with everything. Throughout the years, I have really learned to really just minimalize my quote unquote problem list, right? I think the secret to that is really knowing yourself. I've gotten to the point in my life where I know myself so well to where if I don't get this done right now so that I can serve my client, I'm totally fine with it. Like if my kids don't have dinner tonight because, well, if I don't cook for my kids tonight, I'm fine with it because I know that, what? My kids are good. I'm not going to stress over that. But you know who needs my help right now? My client. I think when you get to a point where you really know your values and know where you stand in your business and you really show up authentically, that's when you can harmonize everything. It's not really about balance because I don't really believe that there's such thing as that. Because when you start putting balance into it, that's where you get lost because you're like, man, shit, do I do that or this, right? Balance is not in my life, but I learned to really just take it all in and just decide, okay, what is really important to me? And that is my focus. That's it. Anything else out of that can wait.
For me, like, I want to make sure that I balance things out though. Like, for example, you want to balance, like, if I had a boyfriend, I would want to balance my time with him, or balance my time with like families or friends, and work, and like my business. And so what you're telling me is that you don't want to balance everything else. You just want to, whatever is important in your life that you know that you need to do and you need to accomplish, you'd rather just focus on that first, right?
Yep. And that comes out with defining your boundaries. Because I have children, I am in a relationship, I have hobbies I'm interested in, but I'm not going to go in every day and be like, okay, this is how much time I should spend with this person. This is how much time. No, what I do is if it, in the beginning of the week is I'll pull on my sheet or whatever it is that you use and look at things I typically do on a daily basis, right? And we usually know what that is. We know that we need a shower, we know that we need to check emails, we know that this and that. These are things I don't need to worry about because I know these are things I know I need to do automatically. The only thing I'll focus on that week are things that will drive my business, okay? And things that will improve my friendship and my family. That is it. What I would do is I would carve out, like, for example, for my family, I'll carve out 3 4 hours on either a Friday night or Sunday night every week or every 2 weeks. And those times are non-negotiable. That is the time that's important to me because that is my value. And then with my personal relationship, he knows how important my business is to me. I communicate that. We plan out dates, and around that time, I don't plan anything else over that because that's important to me. And so that's why I say, the word balance is it's tricky because When you think balance, now you're gonna go in like, okay, I have to dedicate this amount of time to this person. I have to dedicate this amount of time to this person. And it gets tricky. And then that's where we get stressed. So we shouldn't do that to ourselves. Plot your week. Those things that you do every day already, you don't need to put it down because you already know automatically you're gonna do it. Okay, but focus on your goals, and every goal that you set for that week needs to be intentional. Once you do that, trust me, it's going to make life so much easier. And that's really why defining boundaries helps. Because once you start to define your boundaries, you don't have to worry about balance anymore because it's set. Like you get it. There's a clear line of what to do and what to not do.
Right. So pretty much not be so like undecisive. Like you plan it, but then you change your mind, or
Mm-hmm.
what people say, FOMO, missing in action. Because
Yeah.
I know a couple of friends that they don't want to miss out on anything. They want to be sure that they do everything with me or with everyone.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yes.
yeah, and that it's okay to say no, because if for me that's the way I see is that I won't go anywhere unless I know that my house is okay, that I'm okay.
Mm.
If my house is dirty and I know that I have to clean, I'm not gonna go out because I know
Mm-hmm.
that's the only time that I can clean.
Yeah.
And yes, I do understand what you're trying to say too, and I get it. It makes sense. It makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good
Mhm.
discipline, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
something I have to learn, especially when you're like living by yourself and you're in your head a lot of times, and so as much as I want to go out and spend money and spend time with friends and family, but I know that I can't because I need to save money.
mm-hmm.
And if there's a goal that I want to achieve, then I have to say no, and I have
Mm.
I have to I have to stay home, and I just hope that anyone that's listening, I hope that they understand that it's okay to say no, it's okay to draw the boundaries, and it's okay to love yourself and put yourself first. And if
Mhm.
other people get mad, oh well, and so I just hope that people understand that, and I hope that people actually, like contact you and hear what you gotta say, because I it makes sense. It makes total sense.
Because I used to be that person where I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was that mother I was talking about earlier. Every day I came home from work, man, I was like bitching, or I
Mhm.
was like sad, or just upset at the smallest thing. I was not a happy mom. And that was because I didn't know how to draw my boundaries. I tried to do everything for everyone and I was drowning. But the problem with people who don't draw, not problem people, but the problem with not drawing boundaries is that we're prideful too. We do that also because of our own pride. But what we don't recognize is that when we keep giving and giving and giving and giving, we actually take away from ourselves. We become resentful. And sometimes you hear people say all the time, I give, 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 but nobody ever gives back. But I always want to challenge them and say, why do you always give? Do these people that you're always giving to, do they ask you? Or do you always give freely and willingly? Because there's a difference. And if you're always giving willingly without them asking, that's something that you got to reflect on and work on. Because that's a boundary thing you got to work on. And it's also something within you that you got to work on. Because it's not them, it's you. That was me. And the day that I woke and I was like, shit, I don't want to be that dark hole anymore. Man, my life transformed, Drew. Like, I mean, like I love my life right now, and everything in it, everyone in it, and it started with just one simple thing: boundaries. Authentic boundaries. Not boundaries that people want you to place, but authentic boundaries.
So I know that we're like going off topic, but I just wanted to just hear your input on this. But like with our culture, our Hmong culture,
Hmm.
we don't talk a lot about boundaries at all. It's more of, you have to respect your elders, or you have to respect your husband, especially for us women, Hmong women,
Hmm.
where that's how we were taught growing up. So how would you, if you had clients who are Hmong, right? Like how
Hmm.
would you tell them how to balance their life and balance their business when it comes to our culture? Because I feel like some men and some older parents, they don't care about boundaries at all.
Hmm. Well, I would say that's true. I would say they're tired. They're exhausted and they're tired and they want some help. What I would say to them is changing overnight's not easy. It never is for anything. But you know, small action here and there creates momentum. And my suggestion to them would be to journal. If they don't journal, I would say to journal. I would say weekly, be intentional about setting at least 1 to 2 hours aside every week. Because I know if you're in a family that's really traditional, it's hard to get away. It's hard for self-care. But I think for those, it really starts with self-care first before we can even go into boundaries. Yeah. And I would say, you know what? Sneak in 1 or 2 hours of self care. You don't need to give permission to do that. You have to give yourself permission to do that. For those women, just those individuals, I will have to say we will have to start from the ground, like really, really in the ground, and which is self care. And self care involves understanding who you are. What's your identity? You know? So that would be my first step.
Because I do understand, and I was one of those women too, where when we get married,
Mhm.
then we tend to lose who we are, and we tend to do everything for our husband and do everything for our in-laws, and so we lose ourselves. It's important that you have this so that it allows not just one woman, but just women in general to realize that they have to work in themselves. They have to know who they are, and they also have to draw that boundaries. Even though it can be hard, because for us women, we're by nature we're very giving and we're very loving, and we don't want to say or do things that would hurt people that we love. And so
Mhm.
I'm super glad that you have this business that can help women explore that side of themselves and not to forget who they are.
It is. You know, it is important. You know, it's really important. And you know what? I think people are overthinking self care. Self care is as easy as going to the park to go take a walk, being in total silence. Self care is as easy as that. If you can go to Hobby Lobby, you can go take a walk. If you can watch a drama series and binge on that, you can take a walk. You can go to the gym. You can go, I don't know, shut your door, lock it, don't let the kids come in. You know, but self care is, I think, it's just has been so maximized into this whole other thing, but we gotta take it back. We need to bring it back.
I think a lot of time people think self-care is get your nails done, get your hair done, go
Yeah.
shopping, or get a pedicure,
Mhm.
manicure. But for me, I feel like self-care is like what you said: take a walk, journal, um,
Mhm.
watch video that'll help you to elevate yourself, gain more knowledge. Of course, work out too. It's not
Mhm.
just making
Yeah.
yourself look good. Yes, it is, but it's more than that. Like you have to mentally stimulate yourself. Yeah.
It's more than that. Yeah. It's anything that would detox your mind. Anything that would detox your mind. You know, and so I think people has gotten to where
Mhm.
they're over analyzing it, overthinking it,
Right.
and that's why it's lost. Listeners, if you're listening, don't overcomplicate it.
Right, right.
Just
Mhm.
1 2 hours a week. 1 to 2 hours a
Right.
week is very doable.
Right, exactly. Yep. Is there anything that you want to add to this? Any messages that you want to tell the listeners before we end this this episode?
I just want to encourage listeners, if you're in a space in your life where you feel stuck, you just don't know what to do, or you're confused where you feel like you want to do it all, slow down. Please step on the brakes, reassess all of your options, and be real with yourself. What is that you can do right now, today? Be real with yourself and start there, okay? Be intentional with everything that you do. And what does that mean? It means that everything that you do, it's going to move you up somewhere. That's being intentional with your goals. Simplify the things that you're doing. And self-care. I want to keep preaching self-care until everybody starts doing it. It's not done enough, girl. It's not done enough.
Mhm. So where can people find you if they are curious to, work with you and elevate their business, being a single mom or a mom themselves? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so my business is called YESBarr, and that's YESBarr. You can follow me on Facebook. If you just put YESBarr and spell it that way, you will find me. And Instagram, it's spelled YESBarr. And you can go to my website, which is www.yesbar.com.
All right. Well, thanks, Mai, for coming in and giving us a lot of knowledge from you and experience that you have so far. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I think it has helped me too to realize that, it's okay to have boundaries and it's okay to not balance everything out because not everything will be in your life, So I learned something from
Yes,
you.
don't balance it. Just know your boundaries and your values and just align it. You're gonna be good, True. You are already doing
Right.
it, so you're gonna be just
But
fine.
sometimes it's nice to have someone to remind you that okay, this is what you got to do
Mm-hmm.
in life. Even though like because again, I live by myself, so I don't really have like anybody to like be in my ears and like remind me. But just talking
Mm-hmm.
to you and and also having this episode for any listeners who do tune in and listen, they will eventually listen to this and come back to this episode and hear all the great stuff that you have to say about balancing life. So and thank you so much, Mai, for
Yes.
coming in and being my guest. Yeah, that's all that I have for this recording. So,
All right. Well,
again,
thank you so much for having me, Drew.
of course.
Have a wonderful evening
Yes, you
and
too.
cheers to our success.
Of course. Cheers. I'll see you later then,
All
okay?
right. Yeah.
All right,
Bye.
bye. And that is it, you guys. That was Mai Thao, founder of YESBarr. So, if any of you guys are interested in connecting with Mai to improve your business sales and customer service and whatnot, boost up your business because it takes a lot of work when it comes to owning a business and also balancing your personal life. So, if you guys want any strategies or any ideas or just anything that will help you to boost up your business, please reach out to Mai Thao. And of course, she does have her own website. So if you guys want to go to www.yesbarr.com, you guys can find all the information of what she is doing. And you guys can also find her on Facebook and Instagram as well. I will definitely put a link on all of her social media on my Facebook page so that you guys can click on it, get access to her, and reach out to her for more information. But other than that, that is it for this episode. Again, thank you for all of those who have been following me and listening to me and supporting me from the beginning until now. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.